Hey there, this is Brian Gormley with another edition of Where in Greater DC. As folks know, and for people who are new, may not, we film at all different types of locations all across the greater Washington DC, Baltimore region, and each week is a different filming location. You can guess where we're filming and win a free prize by emailing the location for that particular week to support@cornerstonepropertieshomeinfo.com. That's support@cornerstonepropertieshomeinfo.com. This is a fun week. You should be able to figure this one out pretty well. The structure behind me is the thing that we're going for. Not too many castle-like buildings, in the, in the DC area. But anyway, on to the substance. The topic for this week is rent to own, and a lot of rent to own. If you don't know what rent to own is, let's just maybe take a step back and discuss the threshold question. Rent to own is sort of a mixture between buying and renting, right? It's it's primarily for landlords, but also can be for tenants as well. It provides a mutual benefit for both. It's best for a tenant who either doesn't have the down payment money saved up, or doesn't have their credit in place, and usually it's one or the other is the best candidate. So if someone's got, say, 550 credit score, but they need 620, but they've got maybe $5,000 or $10,000 stored up in savings, or maybe a little bit more, then that's a good opportunity for a tenant to get in someplace where the idea is they can buy. They sign an agreement where they're leasing for a certain portion of time, and then they buy within a year or 2 years. And there's all different variations on this. You can lock in a price up front, or you can have it set for whatever the market price is at the time of sale, or some other sort of formula where you start at a certain price and you increase by a certain percentage or a certain numeric number over time or whatever. Now, of course, that's good for the landlord too, because the landlord is getting someone in there who is going to put up a non-refundable deposit right at the get-go. So even if they don't exercise their option to buy, and by the way, the tenant isn't obligated to buy. They have an option on the property. They can buy in a certain period of time, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. But if they don't exercise that option to buy, then that earnest money deposit, typically it's several $1,000s, is gone. And that's good for the landlord, because the tenant can keep up the property well. In theory, they're buying this property, so they're going to keep it up in terms of maintenance and so on. And there won't be as many repair bills, and because the tenant has to take care of more of that stuff, and they're incentivized to keep the property in good condition. So it could be a real good win-win. Now, let me bring this home for purposes of a short sale. Obviously, this rent to own is a good alternative to a short sale, right? Because the landlord, let's say you're upside down, the landlord or the owner can't sell the property for what it's worth right now. But they say, well, look, I really don't want to do a short sale for whatever reason. I'm close. My amount owed and the current property value isn't that far apart. And maybe in 2 years, I'm in an area where I can expect some price appreciation, and we can reasonably expect the value to go up 2 years from now. And lo and behold, it may, and then we can sell the property. So it's a good option, or it's a property where it's just tough to sell, tough to appeal to retail buyers, and so you're going to get someone who's maybe a little bit more marginal on the house purchase front, and that's the way you get the property sold. So it's a form of seller financing, and it's a good technique to use. It's a good tool to have in your arsenal to be able to creatively structure a deal, and so that it's a win-win for everybody. Now, obviously it's an alternative to short sales. Here's where it's not going to work. First of all, when the property is significantly upside down in value, right? It's not just $10,000 or $20,000. We're talking, $60,000, $80,000 or more $1,000 upside down. Well, the buyer's got to get an appraisal at some point, right? Because they've got to take out the financing of the seller. They've actually got to buy this house, and that means. Sorry for the buses. We're on a major thoroughfare right over there. That means that if you're that upside down, the property isn't going to appraise in 2 years. Okay, if you're $60,000 or $80,000 or more upside down, there's no reasonable way the buyer's going to be able to get financing, and therefore never going to be able to really buy this house. At least not in a 1 or 2 year time frame. And it doesn't matter what price you put on there, even if it's above market price. It's just not going to work because no one's going to be able to lend that kind of money to the buyer. Maybe they have enough money to put up the difference, but not if it's $60,000 difference. You know, maybe if it's $20,000 difference or 15, maybe. And they've got, you know, some savings but no credit. So anyway, that's sort of the downside. That's where it really wouldn't work if it's really close. And the other scenario is if the property values obviously are continuing to depreciate, then, you know, it's not going to work because, again, the buyer's got to get financing on the back end. So, you know, you can agree to whatever price you want to, but if it doesn't appraise and the buyer can't come up with the money to make up the difference because the property values are continuing to depreciate, then, you know, you're out of luck. So anyway, it's a good option. Think about it for clients and for yourself if you're a homeowner or if you're a tenant. Broach your landlord. Hey, I want to buy this house. I'm going to keep up with it much better than a regular tenant, and I want to get some equity. And each month, part of my rent payments are going to go towards paying the mortgage, and therefore, you know, maybe a purchase price. Give me some credit here towards my end purchase price, and that's typically how these things are set up. And you can start building equity if you're a tenant, and really force the landlord to start paying, you know, towards your mortgage, right? Because you're not just renting and paying their mortgage, but you're actually getting a credit to pay towards, in effect, what is your mortgage, because you're getting the seller financing. So that's it for this week. Remember, send your guesses, support at Cornerstone Properties, homeinfo.com. I'll try to get the whole structure back there. It's a little tall, but we'll have a good prize for those who are the first person who guesses where it is. All right, take it easy.